As technology advances, so does a new kind of cyber stalking. In fact, a staggering 97% of agencies that help victims say they work with those who have been stalked, abused, or harassed through the use of technology.
3 News investigator Rachel Polanski shows how easily abusers silently stalk their victims using digital tools.
Everything that was electronic started becoming sinister.
She had the feeling she was being watched.
And I would see weird glitches, weird stuff happen on my phone and computers, but I would always just kind of chalk it up to, a little glitch.
Rebecca Nelson had just gotten out of an abusive relationship when photos on her cell phone started disappearing.
I started questioning everything.
And at times she thought her phone was recording her.
I'd wake up in the middle of the night and my phone is next to me on the bed, where I left it, but it's on, it's glowing, and the camera is recording.
She started wondering, was she really alone? When she met her ex-boyfriend online, she thought she had found her soulmate. But after 2 years, the relationship turned violent.
It got to be the point where he would just come, he'd come at me. I'd either knock my head into the tile after or knock it against the wall.
Rebecca moved in with her mom, but she didn't truly escape. The mother and daughter were being watched with their own home security cameras.
Creepy. I can't even describe it.
But Sandra Miller with the Cleveland Rape Crisis Center can describe it.
Technology is part of abuse, sexual violence, domestic violence. It's just one more way that people use power and control over someone else.
The technology isn't new. The same apps that parents use to keep an eye on their children is also being used by abusive partners.
We have had survivors tell us that their perpetrator was tracking their location using their phones or installing software and apps on their phones without them knowing.
A recent survey found that 52% of abuse victims reported being stalked through apps. Another 41% reported being stalked through GPS tracking.
Even if you are being stalked, it becomes so hard to prove.
Paul Baeppler is a private investigator and a Cleveland cop. He says abusive partners can install spyware on phones, but that's not what he typically sees.
When someone is being stalked in that way electronically, it's usually through iCloud or through Gmail or Google, and the person just doesn't have the proper defenses set up.
His best advice if you think someone has access to your account?
The number one thing that you should do is do a hard reset on your phone. The number 2 thing that you should do is set up 2-factor authentication, whether it's through iCloud or Gmail.
And this might seem basic, but change all of your passwords and make them unique.
I was in such a terrorized state.
As for Rebecca, her ex died in 2018 by an accidental overdose. But the stalking experience left a mark.
Every time I go to a computer, every time I pick up my phone, those feelings are still there.
And if you're in an abusive relationship or you think you're being secretly stalked, there are tons of resources out there. We have them listed for you on our website. That's WKYC.com. Rachel Polanski, 3 News.